Evans, quick drive, couldn't get the roll. More contact in the paint as Reese hits the deck again.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah back again with another video. So whenever I had the conversation about the situation with Kennedy Carter and her flagrant foul that she did against Caitlin Clark, there was a lot of people who had a lot to say in the comment section, a lot to say in my Instagram DM, and they wanted to know, why is it that there's not the same energy when it came to this very, very horrible foul that Angel Reese endured on the court with another player. And so I thought it best to just bring the video here, and I'm going to give you guys the full breakdown on why there is a vast difference of why people treat Caitlin Clark the way that they do, or have certain things to say about Caitlin Clark in the way that they do, and why there is no quote-unquote sympathy, or for people to feel bad, or make a bigger deal of the things that transpired with Angel Reese. Okay, so let me just go ahead and play the video, and then I'll give you guys my opinion after.
She had her hand around Angel Reese's neck, and Angel popped her head on the way down. Angel Reese is a Baltimore, Maryland native. She's had some of this stuff happen before. She's gonna be fine. She's tough.
I'm a rookie, I'm a player. I'm a basketball player. They don't give a damn if I'm a rookie. I mean, I want them to come at me every day. I want them to come at everybody. I mean, they're not supposed to be nice to me. I hope y'all know that. They're not supposed to be nice to me or lay down because I'm Angel Reese or because I'm a rookie. Like, thank you, AT, for sending the message to me, because I got back up and I kept going and kept pushing. Like, me and AT have been cool since we were in Maryland, so I know it's not no hard feelings, and I appreciate her for going at me every day. Or today.
With a blindside bump, sending Caitlin to the floor as her teammate Angel Reese hypes her up from the bench.
Okay, so there's a lot to get into, right? Let's just start from the beginning, okay? Let's just start from the beginning of, when the foul took place, right? Let me even move myself out the way so you guys can get a clear view of everything that exactly happened, right? So we see right here where her opponent, I forgot what they said the name was. I think they said something about Thomas or Taylor. I'm not exactly the name. I don't want to butcher nobody's name or say the wrong name, but you guys will get the drift, right? Right here, we see that she literally pushes by her. She has her arm this way, right? And yanks around her neck to pull her down to the ground. Right? This is not a block. This is not something that is, you can see it right here. Boom. Want to see it again? That chokehold right there. Yeah, no, I would have been out the game. I'm not going to lie. I am not that kind of, I don't like that tussling stuff. I don't like nobody putting their hands on me. I would have been out the game. I would have had to go home. Okay? Like, this is hence why I am not a basketball player. Okay? That's first of all. Second of all, I want to say that, the whole reason why this was not made a big deal, this is not, a big situation, why everybody was just saying whatever they were saying about it, and how it never even made it as, as widespread as the situation that happened with Caitlin Clark, is exactly what the commentator at the game was saying. He was like, oh, she from Maryland. She's tough. She's strong. She'll be all right. She's cool. Don't worry about it. She gonna get up and play harder. The real reason, right? Before we get into what she said after the game or whatever, the real reason is because there is this still, and it just rings true to the things that I talk about on my channel. This whole, the black woman, I'm so strong. I don't need a man. I could do bad all by myself. I could figure it out. I don't got no problems. It's all the same narrative. Okay? That's just being 100% true. You know how they made the movie The Woman King? Right? As like a representation of how strong and how resilient and how, we could just do anything, and, we don't feel pain, and we're not hurt or whatever because we're just a stronger, human beings. That's exactly why nobody is making a big deal of that. Even her herself. Because even she believes or fits into the narrative. She feels like, oh yeah, well, that's a part of the game. It just is what it is. At the end of the day, everything that she said in that speech, in my personal opinion, this has nothing to do with how I feel about her as a ball player or anything. Everything that she said in that speech, in my personal opinion, was foolishness. Okay? That's just my personal opinion, because yes, you do want to play the game. Yes, you don't want to be somebody who's crying all the time or making excuses. No, you do not want to be, a part of the victim Olympics or seen as a victim all the time, or like you always crying or you always upset about something. I completely understand that. I completely understand the sportsmanship of the game. However, this thing where she fell and hit her head, that could have been her last basketball game she ever played. I'm just being real. I'm being completely honest about it. This, from her grabbing her neck and the force, because she's already lifted up off the air, right? Like she's already suspended off the air. She has nothing to balance on. And she's a tall girl. That thing, that one arm thing with all that strength and bringing her to the ground, I'm not going on no press conference after that talking about me and nobody is cool. I cannot speak for nobody else but myself. Okay? I'm just keeping it 100%. There's nothing wrong with you having to, you have your opponents there and you want to work harder. There's nothing wrong with people who are challenging you at a higher level. And so you have to do the work to keep yourself, your name mentioned. You want to make sure that you are as good as you were in college, in the league. There's nothing wrong with having to work harder. There's nothing wrong with putting your best foot forward. However, again, I think it's very important that certain lines are drawn. Certain things should not be okay. And I think that her making this speech, the reason why I personally said that is foolishness is because this makes it harder for certain lines to be drawn. Because now it looks like when other people are, in certain situations and they're not okay with it, because, and not because they're not a crybaby, but because they see certain situations playing out and they're like, no, this is ill treatment. This is unfair treatment. This is taking it too far. When other people do that, now people are going to look at them like, oh, they complain too much because she's not complaining. Well, how come? She's not complaining. She's fine with it. Angel Reese, I think she made a tweet before saying something along the lines that like she's too hood or she's too ghetto or whatever and she doesn't fit the narrative. And I want to speak on that, right? Because in the realm of especially basketball, there is room, especially if you are from the hood, right? Because, some of the greatest talents come from certain demographics and certain spaces where people were maybe living in impoverished, single mother homes, whatever the case is. Like, we already know that some of the greatest talents come from very, very humble beginnings. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? They had to focus. They had to, get it out the mud, strive to be the best that they could be in whatever situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely a place for that, especially in basketball. However, I think that people have a hard time remembering that when you are playing a professional sport, regardless, this goes for the Olympics. This goes for track runners. This goes for, tennis players. This goes for what is the other one? What's the one that Tiger Woods played? Golf. This goes for all of the sports that you could think of. When you are playing at a professional level, there are certain things, certain things put in place, certain rules, certain things you have to abide by, and also certain things that are supposed to be there to protect their players. It's important. Again, because like I said, as much as you talking about, it's not a big deal, you could say that now. You could say that now because you are okay. But however, this could have played out a very different way. It could have. I'm just being honest. This is just being real. It could have been extremely dangerous. And then what would have been said? That's when people would have said, oh, this is crazy. Oh, no, she took it too far. Then they would have made a bigger deal out of the situation. Again, this is not about being a victim. This is not about, turning the WNBA into something that now everybody who's watching, every 5 seconds there's a call for this foul and that foul. These people have to sit out the game. These people got to do this. Like, that is going to actually turn down viewership if that happens. Because, even if you're watching the NBA, if you see all these, plays of these flags called and this and that, and, that was a foul and that was a flagrant, and every 5 seconds, it takes away from the entertainment of the actual game. So we completely understand that, and we also want to protect that. However, again, it's important that certain lines are drawn. It's very important that certain lines are drawn. A lot of people have this to say, like, it's because everybody want to protect Caitlin Clark because, she's this and she's that. And because, it's like I think people were saying something like, it's the white savior complex and stuff like that. I think it's just people who think logically, who are not thinking emotionally. And sometimes that emotionally, it even ties into, being led by your emotions and your feelings that can lead over into the waters of race. When sometimes it just doesn't even need to be mentioned. Is Caitlin Clark good or not? She's great. She's a great player. As is Angel Reese. They're great players. But again, not because one person is walking around like the woman king and like there's no problem with anything, means that if something happens to another person and they're not going for it, it's a different story. Again, bringing up, what she said in her press conference as well, I think that based off of how, Caitlin Clark was fouled, and Angel Reese, stood up and was clapping about the entire situation, cheering on her teammate while Caitlin Clark was on the floor. Again, I think that we have to be honest about something. You see, Caitlin Clark being on the floor, and again, there was no ball in Kennedy's hand. There was nothing in Kennedy's hand. It was not in the middle of a play. Caitlin Clark is like, I'll square up. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I play ball. I focus on the game. I have a career. I have goals in mind. I'm not trying to square up with nobody. I'm not here to tussle. There's nothing wrong with her being passionate and being super focused in the game. Trash talk, necessary fouls here and there, of course. But when things are starting to look like it's being done from an emotional place, that's when a problem steps in. The reason why an Angel Reese would not have a situation is because her being a street baller and being how she is, being a little bit more in your face with it, has no problem that if somebody push her the wrong way. Now, I'm not saying that she would do it, but it's quite possible that she'll swing. Right? She bout that. Same thing we see sometimes in the NBA where, a person will get fouled on and somebody will push them, and next thing you know, they pushing back and they tussling. You have other players who they push them and they just gonna lay on the ground. Because they're like, this is not my fight. I have too much to lose. I have endorsements. I have this. I have too much to focus on. I can't get into the squabble. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I have to say it again. I think that Angel Reese is a really good player, as is Caitlin Clark. I don't think that there is a reason why people are always even conflating the two. However, in these situations, as soon as somebody mentions Caitlin Clark, you have a whole bunch of people who run into the comment sections and want to talk about Angel Reese. So I think that people don't realize, but a lot of the people who are supportive of one, they are actually pitting them against each other. I don't know if that's helping, the WNBA ratings. I don't know if that's helping the sport where people are tuning in because they're emotionally invested in a certain person. I'm not really sure, but I think that it can be very dangerous, especially when it comes to, the fact that they're not from the same background. It can cause a lot of problems. Right? So we have to be cautious of if we are looking at these situations logically or emotionally. But I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.